guys taking the time to be with us today. We will go ahead and get started. I'm very excited about today's session. We have a first-time guest here today that's going to be sharing with our group for the first time. Real quick, before this gets started, you guys have seen this before. You'll definitely see it again, but there is risk involved in trading. I know that we're all hoping or hopeful that we could get that special trading strategy that just spit money out of our computer all day. There was no risk, and all we did was collect the cash and go to the bank. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Let's see, are you guys still having music? You still hearing music? Should be gone now. Okay, all right, good deal. All right, well, just to tell you a little bit about the Trading Pub, then I'm going to turn things over to our speaker. The mission of the Trading Pub is to provide a place for our patrons where they can hang out with some of the top traders in the industry. The pub is the place to receive quality education, all while interacting with traders and investors who are just like you. Throughout the Trading Pub, what we want you guys to be able to do is learn from top traders. We want you to enjoy your time here. Everything's better amongst friends. Let's all have a good time. We're really a trading, just like you guys here in the room. We're trying to figure out ways to make money in this market, so it's a good thing to try to do together. And then also we try to put a focus on charitable giving, and any 10% of revenues generated through TradingPub.com are given to charities that focus on inner city revitalization and workforce development. If you want to stay up to date with us, our website, and we will be recording this, so recording will be posted tomorrow at our website under free education. Okay? All right, under free. Thanks, Ed. We appreciate that. So again, if you're in the Twitter sphere, you can follow us. It's twitter.com/tradingpub. Sorry, it's twitter.com/tradingpub. And if you're on Facebook, I think we just passed the 36,000 mark on Facebook last week, but you can go to facebook.com/tradingpub. We try to put some interesting pictures up, market news, etc., on our Facebook page. So if you are on Facebook, you can like us there. And we try to just share recordings and free material that might be helpful to you. So hopefully you can do that. Now, you guys have been here before. If it's your first time, I'm going to go over the rules of the road. All we really ask is that you be here to learn, that you get as much as you can out of the presentation. What we don't want you to do, if for some reason the speaker's talking about something that doesn't really strike a chord with you, don't be this guy on the left. You don't want to be the heckler or be rude. I promise you, I very much promise you, that the speaker today is coming in here and wants to really share some good knowledge with you. And so we appreciate Jeremy being one of our commentators, one of the contributors to Trading Pub, and a speaker on today's free event. But if you're going to be here, be cool. You want to be this guy here on the right, and just try to get as much as you can. If you have questions for the speaker, definitely ask them. Some of the speakers will take questions throughout the event. Some of them like doing the Q&A at the end. I'm not sure what Jeremy has planned today, but I'm sure he'll let you know as far as whether he wants questions throughout the event or at the end. But again, we appreciate him being here very much. And I'd like to take this time to introduce Jeremy. Jeremy's the founder of SharkIndicators.com. He's the chief architect of Bloodhound, which is a revolutionary trading software that allows traders to model their trading rules and systems without coding, providing clear, precise signals. So it would be my guess, I'm not sure if we have any programmers in the room, but it would be my guess if the 190 people in the room right now tried to create a system basically and go in and program, we'd all fall very short. Jeremy has basically, through Shark Indicators, come up with a way that people like you and me that don't have a programming experience and background and extensive knowledge in that can still take advantage of system-type trading. So it's very cool. And really the cool thing about that is it helps to remove emotions a little bit, but allows you to do a lot of research and testing. And so that's what he's going to be talking about today, of improving your trading through research. So again, he has a very extensive background as a software developer and also a trader. And basically, he had the mindset to say, trading systems shouldn't just be for the firms with big money that can program. It should be for normal individual traders like you and myself. So Jeremy, we appreciate that, and I will go ahead and get your slides loaded for what you're going to cover. I'm going to turn the room over to you real quick, Jeremy, before you get started with your presentation. If you could just give us a little background. I know this is your first time talking at the Trading Pub. If you could give us a little background on how you got started in the market, and then what you are really trying to accomplish through shark indicators and Bloodhound. All right, thanks, Jeremy, and I'll turn.
Thanks, Morgan. It's a pleasure to be here. I've heard a lot of great things about TradingPub, and I'm quite excited here to interact with you guys and share what I've got to show you here today. As Morgan has alluded to earlier, I'm a software developer, and I first got interested in trading actually it's about 5 years ago now that when the market crashed. That sort of really caught my attention, and I realized that there's a lot of very interesting intellectual problems to be solved in trading, and that's kind of where I like to. That's where I like to be. I've always kind of had a mathematical kind of mind, and I love analysis and that sort of thing. And of course, it lends itself well to software development. So that's kind of how I attacked trading in the first place. And Morgan did mention before, if you're not a coder, this like the product that I have developed and I've been working on for now the past 3.5 years, which has been basically the brainchild of getting into. Well, I guess I'll get into the story in a bit, but I do want to sort of state that we do have a lot of people that use our software that are software developers themselves, and find that it's great for sort of speeding up their research and finding systems that work for them in the trading route. So anyway, today's topic is about systematic trading. And first of all, why bother talking about it, and how does it improve your trading? One of the first things I did when I got into trading is I went out there and like a sponge, I tried to absorb as many different things as I could. I spent a fair bit of money on education and learned under a variety of different mentors, and found that there's really no absolute answer. And I'm sure you've heard this many times before. I'm sure people have told you, hey, there's no holy grail out there. And I think Van Thorpe puts it best in his material, and saying that there is technically no holy grail out there that exists, but there is a holy grail for you out there somewhere. What I'm getting at is trading systems are very personal. Having sort of studied under many different methods and many different systems, there's almost nothing in common between them all. It's amazing what people come up with, and the different types of systems that can be developed. But the one thing that is in common is that the people that are successful, that I found, tend to reinvent themselves very, very often. So why are trading systems personal? Well, okay, if you took a room, actually, let's say this room here, we've got 211 people in here at the moment, and if I were to give you the same system to everybody, the entry signals and the exits even, I guarantee you, by the end of the year, if I told everybody, hey, let's all trade the same system, by the end of the year, everybody would have a different profitable result. Everybody would have different results, and it's not, it's not because everybody didn't follow the rules and changed. It's because trade systems are, I wouldn't say open up to interpretation, but they're traded. Ultimately, it's the trader that pulls the trigger, and there are things like people will trade differently even if they're given the same rules. And the reason for this is trade systems really have a personality to them. They have different risk profiles. They have different styles, and traders have all sorts of different levels of capability. Not just being able to see the signals, but also how much money they got in their bank account. Obviously, if Trader A's got $10,000 and Trader B's got $100,000, even if it's the same person, if you were to put that same person in two different scenarios, they will trade differently, even if you gave them the same system. It's because there's certain positions you can or cannot take if if you're funded a certain way, and there's certain instruments you can't take or you can't trade if you're funded a certain way. And sometimes, and you try to avoid it as much as you can, you just tend to trade differently if you have a larger bank account than if you had a smaller bank account. It's just human nature. So I've got a kind of an example here. Two different types of personality types, just to really sort of hammer this point home. But if you were to take two types of traders, if you had like basically a scalper trader, for example, put them up against a trend trader, and if you look at their various different personalities, like what drives these type of people, what's their different makeup? Scalpers tend to like quick action. They tend to dislike a lot of consecutive losses in a row. They're more comfortable with risking more per trade, and they like winning often and losing seldom. The scalping trades, which are basically just they're very quick. You're taking positions multiple times out through the day. You're taking small bites out of the market. They'll say their way is the way to trade. Their way is the way to go. They've got the winning system. But then you'll talk to the other camp, the trend traders, and they'll tell you the exact opposite. Literally, they'll say, hey, you've got to wait for that one big winner to make up for all your small losses. And they're very different mindsets. So trend traders don't mind taking 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 losses because they know they've got their trade management set in such a way that they're designed to take very large, huge, heroic wins, if you will, and gobble up big trends, which can be very exciting for them. But you have to be able to sit through a lot of bad stuff before you get to that good stuff. Whereas scalpers tend to be the opposite. They like to take things in small steps, and occasionally they do get hit hard. But I've seen scalpers, actually very skilled ones, that can get away with some just absolutely mind-blowing results in terms of percent profitability. But at the end of the day, so it's definitely possible. But I'll tell you, they definitely have a different personality than those trend traders. First of all, I just want to make sure everybody can hear me okay. If you're having problems, just oh, hang on a second. I'm just getting a little thing that my mic's a little bit too loud, so I'm going to turn down the volume just a little bit. My apologies. Okay. All right. So let me see. Where did I get up here? Okay. The one point I do want to make, and this is again alluding to what I've seen and observed from many different people in my journey, sort of to get to where I am right now, and that's the top traders and the ones that really are successful are never trading, they're always reinventing themselves. They're always creating their new strategies. They're always refining it. They're always going back on their past trades, looking at their system, and they're improving it. That goes without saying in terms of the markets aren't static. They're always changing, evolving, and what system may have worked 3 months ago, may not be working anymore. I'm talking maybe on an intraday basis, on sort of a daily basis. If you're a trader that likes to trade, more on a larger scale, sometimes you won't know that until months go by. But you have to be flexible regardless. Okay, so hang on. Maybe my mic is a little bit too low. My apologies, guys. All right, is that a little better? Is that good? Okay. All right, so okay, hopefully we got the audio stuff sorted out here. So the one thing I like to sort of stress with our customers and with people that I've seen again that are successful is they they tend to take a different approach. They don't just take a system and learn it. And what they do instead is they learn to invent their own systems. And that has tremendous advantages because when you get to that point of not just simply trading, someone else's system or something that you've heard, or maybe just designing something once and then stopping, the ability to if you emphasize to yourself and set yourself a goal to learn how to come up with trade ideas and how to find them and how to analyze them properly, then you can sort of you can adapt when the market adapts, and that's very important. So and that kind of lends itself again into this idea of you create your system, and you have to have some sort of verification, or is this going to be better or worse than what I was trading before, or is this something that's actually tradable? So you have to have some plan of attack or some notion of being able to analyze and create your system, but also like go through, analyze it, test it, and discover for yourselves, if it's worth trading or if it's better than what you had before. And then this, again, like I said, this is a continuous process. You just keep doing it. I've seen scalper traders in particular, like they're sometimes just refining their system on a weekly basis. So that's quite often. I mean, that's very, I'd say, highly volatile in terms of your system is always changing. If you're trading on a sort of a daily chart, certainly that's a little bit of a different story. So to begin all this, this whole notion of being able to backtest or analyze your trade system, you need some way of inputting this system or creating a system in the computer. And that's kind of what my last 3 years have been in terms of what I've been building is a tool to allow people, first and foremost is actually for myself, allow people to describe their system in the computer, and so that you can take that system and then you can back test it, you can analyze it, you can tweak it, you can change it, and even auto trade it. So once you've got a system basically described in the computer, it's not too much more of a stretch to actually just simply auto trade it. So again, this is what I was sort of alluding to earlier, is this whole idea that if you have this ability and capability to do something like this, then you can actually improve and reiterate your trade system. So what we built here is this tool again, and I'm sort of introducing it to this, to you folks at TradingPub, being my first time here, is a tool that's not going to pigeonhole you into any one particular way of trading. And that's one thing, when I set out to build this thing, that I was adamant about was the idea of flexibility, because you take a room of 20 people and you ask them, all right, here's a task for you. Here's a picture or you ask everybody to draw a picture of a bird, for example. You're going to get 20 different bird drawings. And that's the point. Is there's no two traders that trade identically. That's just the way it is. But we're all individuals. So why would we build a trading system for the masses where everybody trades it the same way? I mean, you really have to build a trade system that you're confident in yourself, and in order to satisfy that, you need a tool that will let you build that trade system that's your own. So anyway, what I'm going to do today is show you how we actually go ahead and model a trade system, a simple trade system. And certainly we got to learn to walk before we run. So I'm just going to be showing you entry signals, and those of you that are been around the block a few times should probably know that the entry signals are only half the story, right? The other half is what you do when you're in the trade, and exiting and managing your trades, is just as important, and most people would probably argue probably more important. But again, we're just going to show the kind of the first step here, and that's how to basically model your system from scratch. So I've got a bit of an example system that we pulled up here, and this particular system, actually, this is the CL, the crude oil daily chart. This of basically 2012 there, and as you can see, this particular system did quite well. It doesn't take a tremendous number of trades, but it tends to catch the nice big runners when they happen. And this particular system, it's basically a trend type system. It's sort of a wait and lie in wait for the best opportunity and then jump and pull the trigger. And it's really nothing. There's no what am I saying? There's no magic juice in there. It uses very simple and common indicators. As you can see, we use the stochastics, a MACD, and a simple SMA in there. It's one of these systems that is designed for these, the instruments that have these large sweeping motions. Instruments like Google, the Euro USD, and I suspect Apple would work quite well with it as well. But you don't really know until you actually build the. You don't really know until you actually build the system and try it out. I'm getting sort of a message here from some people that the audio is cutting in and out. Am I coming through okay with you guys? Okay. Yeah, I do notice that Obnovia tends to. Okay, good. Thank you. It tends to slow down this VM system I'm using, and it maybe have some problems with the audio. But all right, it sounds like the majority of you guys are doing okay though. Okay, so so I'm just going to go through kind of the simple components. I'm going to show you how I actually built the system using Bloodhound, which is our software. So you can see here, okay, it uses three components. Again, it uses the SMA, the stochastics, and the MACD. Kind of once you learn how to do some of these basic things, it's very easy to just extend this and tweak it and change it and do and really personalize it to your liking. What a lot of people tend to do, would like to do, is they will like to analyze maybe a crossover event. And here's an example. Okay, so I've got basically this 30 SMA that's kind of running in that white line there, and you can see just as the price crosses above the 30 SMA, we sort of have this long component there, and in the right-hand side, we got the opposite situation happening where the price is dipping below the 30 SMA, and that's basically what we call the crossover. So you're analyzing essentially a moving average against the price, and certainly you can analyze indicators against indicators and do crossovers, two SMAs, or but this particular system uses a crossover event with an SMA. So I'm going to jump over here, share my desktop real quick, and just build this one little component, and show you how we can layer this all in together. So let's just give this a shot here. Okay, now hopefully you can see my desktop. I've got basically a NinjaTrader open, and if you're not familiar with NinjaTrader, it's a charting platform that is actually free until you need to trade real money. So it's very convenient. You're just doing research and you're trying out building new systems, and consequently we built our software to work on top of NinjaTrader. So on the right here on this chart, I've got basically the different components in there, and you can see this is the price chart up here. I've got the CL daily, and I've got a 30 SMA running kind of white line there, and I've got the stochastics below and the MACD. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add Bloodhound, which is our system modeling software, to the chart. so. And it disappears down below, and it just sort of shows you that it's kind of ready to go. And one of the neat little things that we built in here, and like I said, I'm quite passionate about building software and tools, and that's sort of something that's stuck with me for really as long as my professional career I can remember. I really like to build things that again speed common tasks up. So if you're familiar with NinjaTrader, you'll probably know that if you want to code up a crossover, you'd have to open up the code window, script it, compile it, add the indicator to your chart, and then you can start looking at signals. With Bloodhound, it's considerably easier. So what I can do here is I can just add a crossover event, go over here and select the price, compare it to the 30 SMA, and boom, it's done. Okay, so right here you can see that the here's a moment where the price crossed below the 30 SMA, and right here it's above. It looks like it actually gapped up there. And you scroll back a little bit more, you can see there's a little bit of chop there. So typically when you first start doing this, you're going to see a lot of chop, and that's obviously not very attractive if you're trying to build a decent system. But again, this is just the first step here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of widen these crossover events a little bit, so that we get a little bit more. Well, actually, let me just back up. I'll leave that there for now and explain later why I'll do that. But you can clearly how we've just simply marked the chart up there with some crossovers up and down there. Okay. Okay. So let's go back here and pop over the slideshow, and hopefully you can see the slideshow now. All right, so the next component here is the stochastics. And typical use of the stochastics indicator is if it gets to a certain point and gets really high up there, that's kind of a sign that you're in what they call overbought territory, meaning that the buyers have had a lot of action. It's probably going to turn around on you at some point here, and the sellers might take over. I'm not saying that's exactly the way everybody uses stochastics, but that's certainly the original intention of the indicator. But one thing we notice is that a lot of people have, they come up with incredible and creative uses of indicators all the time, which is a really neat thing to see with traders in general. Okay, so what we're going to do here is look for those moments where the stochastics actually gotten below a certain threshold. And now it's crossing back up. It's kind of like it's gotten down below, and now we're going to go. We're in an oversold condition, and okay, now we're breaking out of the oversold condition, and we're going to jump into buying territory. Right? It's some people are like, well, let's wait for it's got to be a point where the market is ready to go back in the other direction, and the stochastic indicator is a great tool for that. Similarly, if we're kind of in this overbought territory here, and I can't really, I don't know if I can annotate the chart here. Let me just try that out here. I'm just gonna see if I can draw a little circle. Okay, there we go, circle. Okay, so yeah, you can see those are the sort of overbought and oversold territories. When we're above that, we're above those thresholds or below that thresholds, and then what we want to do is catch that moment where we're crossing back down. And we're converting, if you will, from an overbought condition to a condition where we're ready to sell. Okay, so I'm going to show you this little portion now. And did you guys see the slideshow there a moment ago? I'm just curious if it converted over properly or if it did. Because I actually had the slideshow up. Okay, good. So as you can tell, I'm a little bit new with Omnovia. Okay, so we still have our original SMA cross here. So let me just put that back up there. All right, and I'm going to throw in the stochastic one. Okay. All right. So so what we want to do again is we want to take the stochastics and see it go against a threshold. And my partner that actually came up with this system first, he actually likes to use a slightly faster stochastic period and less smoothing, just to get a little more like that's just the way he calibrated his system. But obviously, once you build your system, you can tweak and you can play with it however you want. And oops, of course, hang on, let me just sorry guys. All right, so we want to go against a threshold value. So I think this is at 75. All right. Okay. So you can see on the chart here real quick, on the right-hand side, we've got Bloodhound marking all those instances where we're crossing below the 75 mark. But we also got a little bit of noise here. We got these kind of green marks going up when we're crossing above the 75 there. We don't really want those at this point. We want actually the long signals to occur down here, right? Down here where they're crossing back above from the 25. So what I'm going to do is just shut off the one side there. All right. This goes short only. Okay, so then we got the short signal. That's all we got. I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to duplicate that little criteria. And I'm going to create the short side real quick. But this time, of course, oops, did I get that backwards? I did. Sorry, guys. That was the short. This is the long. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to build in the long signal. So we want to go long. We want a long signal to flash kind of whenever we go from this 25 and above line here, like so. Okay, so now you can see I've got them both marked like that. Okay, so that's component number 2. And then, if you just bear with me for a little bit longer, we're going to show you kind of how to layer them all together. And pop back to the slideshow. Okay, and this is the MACD. Judy's asking, is there a limit to the number of indicators you can program across? No, there's no limit whatsoever. Bloodhound works with, like I said, it doesn't pigeonhole you in any way to any particular style of trading and how many indicators you want to use. You can use multiple time frames. You can use any number of indicators that are installed on your system, and there's no limit to any of that stuff. Okay, the last component to this particular system is the MACD, and it's the histogram, which is basically a divergence type indicator that's looking at the differences between two, basically a faster moving average and a slower moving average. And it's been said that essentially when you've got that faster moving average moving upwards and it's changing quicker than the slower one, you've got basically what's called an upward momentum. And the MACD is great at picking these out. So absolutely, you can. By the way, Chris is just asking, can it count highs and lows X days ago? Yeah, there's a tool built in there called SI Chameleon that counts highs. We can do counting and we can look at highs and lows. Maybe at the end of this presentation, I'll sort of explain a little bit further how you can find out more information about, what kind of things that you're looking for and how you can implement them. Okay, so on my little slide here, I hope you can see the slide. You can see the point where the momentum goes down and the point where the momentum goes up. We just want to capture those moments right there. Okay, so if I go back to my chart. All right, on my chart you can see I've got the momentum indicator, or sort of the MACD, the histogram, and you can see actually, look, I've got the stochastic highlighted, but it almost looks like it mirrors in a lot of cases there. A lot of these indicators you'll see, that's the point here. We want to find points where these three indicators actually agree with each other. So again, I'm building the individual components, and then I'm going to show you how to put it all together and find instances where they actually agree with each other. Okay. So the MACD, we're again we're interested in the histogram. So I'm just going to select the MACD, and as you can see, when I bring up this little dialog, I've got all my indicators that are installed in the system. And these will include indicators that if you downloaded them from a third party, like Big Mike's Trading or whatever, or even if you coded your own, you can put those in there. As you can add them to your system. So we're looking at the histogram, which is the diff here. And again, my partner Zach, he likes to speed things up a little bit, so he uses slightly different parameters. All right, and we're going to be comparing this to the zero line. All right, and basically, it's simple as that. So here we got again these points where the MACD is now breaking below the zero line, and it's breaking above the zero line there. Okay. So you just saw me just throw together a couple different pieces of criteria, and I'm going to just with basically some advanced logic. So built into this system is the ability to sort of manipulate logic like it's almost like a I guess it's like an electronic board, if you will. And we have these existing criteria pieces that we've built. So I'm just going to pop them onto the chart here like so. Okay. All right, so I'm adding each one of these on, the MACD and stochastics. All right, now if you recall the stochastics, I sort of split those up. So if I pop that into the result node, you can see I'd split up the stochastics so that we had the short side on there. And if I pop the long in there, you can see those are the instances where the long side, you get the long criteria. But what we really want is a combination of both. We don't want them sort of in isolation. So the first step I'm going to do is combine these signals. So I'm going to bring up what's called an OR node. Throw these together like so. Pop it in. Okay. So now you can see I've got the stochastics going so that I've got both the long signals and the short signals kind of fire off from the stochastics. All right. Joel's saying, yeah, it looks like the Prodigio program. I certainly didn't, not super familiar with Prodigio, but I do know that it did exist. I'm not sure what happened to it, but having sort of seen screenshots and whatnot of it, I have to say, there was a fair bit of limitations with that, the way they had designed that thing. Certainly when we try to design Bloodhound, we try to make it, we try to sort of take the handcuffs off, if you will. But anyways, let's continue to go here. And what I'm going to do now is combine all three, right? So I'm going to combine all three. Because we're looking for instances where all three indicators are screaming at you to do the same thing at the same time, right? So I'm going to throw these in together, and we'll probably notice that there's very few signals. Okay. Now, why is that? Okay. Well, the simple answer is this is the difference between a human and a computer trader. And with a computer, they don't, when you tell it this is exactly what I want, this is exactly what you're going to get. That can be good and bad for you depending on your perspective. Okay, so a computer will follow the rules to a T. So you've said, we've basically described to it, I want these signals to occur on the same actual bar, trading bar. Now, how often do you think these indicators will all align themselves on the exact same bar and cross over at the exact same point? And the answer is probably not too often. It's like the stars aligning. Okay, so the last little piece of criteria is that, yeah, thanks, Chris. And that's exactly, it's very rare, right? So we built in a lot of different ways you can introduce more human-like elements, if you will. Okay, so one very simple way is you can specify kind of a way um, to soften the look back period, if you will. If we allow these bars or these indicators to align themselves within 3 bars of each other, that's good. Okay, so what I did there is I just simply went back and I edited, and this is all in real time. You don't have to go back and code it up again, or you just basically make the switch and you can see it immediately. So what I'm doing is I'm thickening these lines a little bit, right? So I'm making the allowance that, hey, you can sort of align with each other within the last 3 bars. As long as you're within 3 bars of each other, go for it. Okay, so that's what I've done there. I've basically thickened these bars, thickened these crossover events by 3. So I'm going to do the same thing with the MACD. I'm going to thicken these. All right. And I think I did the crossover right, did I not? No, I didn't. Okay, so the crossover, I'll also thicken that by 3. Okay, and now when we put this in there, we might actually get a couple signals that match up. There we go. That's basically it. So, of course, we look back and not every signal is going to work. No system has that. If you have, congratulations. You've solved something that no one else in the world has. But you can see there's quite a lot of these that caught, the signal just before some really nice runs there. So, if you had some pretty sound trade management, you probably would have done all right. Caught some pretty good trends. And this is 2011, 2012, and that's just from visual inspection. So, today, I sort of plan to just show you the entries, and the next time when I come online here, I'll be showing you a little bit more on the analysis side of what to do, and the trade management side. But here, that's basically a system we built within 40 minutes, and most of it was just me yapping, but it's something you can build relatively quickly in 5-10 minutes using Bloodhound. Joel's asking, would it help to make an all-short event by making MACD and MA crosses long or short with the stochastics long or short? I'm not quite sure I understand, Joel, but it sounds like that's it's up to you. Kind of the whole tool is designed again not to pigeonhole you in a particular way of trading. So if you want to try out a different type of tweak the criteria slightly, try that out. That's really not a problem at all to do. Okay, so that's basically kind of Bloodhound in a nutshell. And guys, we're just kind of really touching the surface here. We've got a lot of great little tools in there that can really just punch up the logic, if you will. And what we show in here is really just, I've only used one of these what we call solvers here. These are so things that can detect criteria. I've only used one of them for this to build this system, but as you can see, there's quite a few of them in there. The things that they'll look at, like bar direction and bar characteristics, swing trends, support and resistance, comparing indicators against thresholds, looking at indicators slopes, inflection points, even regression channels. So there's a fair bit of stuff in there, and and that's, again, we didn't design a tool, for necessarily beginner traders, if you will. It's for people like you guys, the guys that know what you're doing and know what you like to see, but maybe don't have a tradable system yet, and you're just looking for a way to discover that system. So this is a tool that will help you get there, and get there quickly. I might add, it's a lot quicker than trying to code it yourself. Conditional statements, Mark is just asking. I don't mind answering questions, so just shoot away if you want to. How about conditional statements, i.e. pivots, asking for greater or equal to or less than equal to a pivot? Yeah, there's a variety of ways to do that, Mark. I won't go into the exact details, but what I will say is there's a workshop we run every Wednesday. It's free to attend, and it's basically you can ask away any questions you want to go about and to do that kind of thing, and we show you everything that we can do with it. Likewise, we kind of handhold you if you're new to the product. So we don't leave anybody out in the cold, and certainly our users are very happy for that. So we'll do one-on-one sessions and stuff with you guys, and it's all it's all free. We just include that. So and we try to get build the community as strong as possible. And also, what I find absolutely fascinating, I just love this part, is that people come up with some of these like the most amazing things, ways to use some of these tools, stuff that we never even dreamed of. And it just goes to show that no two traders are alike. They have so many different conceptions of what's possible and how to trade. It's just amazing to see. So we're very we very much like the feedback and like hearing what you guys have to say in terms of what you want to do. Mark, I will sort of add to that. We are also working on a divergence indicator as well, which actually will tackle that problem very specifically. So that's kind of an add-on thing that we're doing. Saw another question there. I'm just trying to get back there and take a look at it. Tweaking all of them, Lena's saying, tweaking all of them between each other depends on the time frame of the trader. Yeah, absolutely. Again, we don't build a tool that sort of pigeonholes you in any particular time frame either. So and certainly, this particular system that I built here, showing you guys, it's very good at with sort of daily type chart. Intraday trading, I find, is a very different animal for sure. And you kind of have to build your system for the time frame that you're shooting for. Some people say, "Wow, it's all the same, a chart's a chart." Well, it really is. Those intraday charts have very different characteristics. There's very different players involved there. And so again, it sort of lends itself back to you gotta test it to find out what works and what doesn't work. Is the GUI exportable to another platform? Currently, it isn't, Adrian. It's NinjaTrader is a very solid platform, and it's the one we've stuck to because it is literally the most extendable one out of all the ones that we've looked at, and honestly, it's sort of makes it. It's the only one that they believe something like this they can build an elaborate tool like this only because NinjaTrader has such a sophisticated API. RJ is asking, can custom indicators be used with your tool? RJ, absolutely, it sure can. Any indicators that you've got installed on your system will work just fine. How about support and resistance levels? Yes, absolutely. You can use. There are ways to. We have solvers that do support and resistance, and basically they go in there and they take support and resistance inputs from your indicators. They could be pivot points. They could be I've seen used with regression channels, even Fibonacci indicators. So anything will work. Confluence, Mark, I'm not super familiar with Confluence, to be perfectly honest. If that's a flavor of divergence, then certainly that's something that we're working on. It's something a more sophisticated way to detect divergence. Rick's saying a cool tool, but it seems like I can get into the trap of over optimization. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's obviously a concern for any kind of trader. But that's I think more the you just got to be careful when you're building your tool. And I'll cover this on the next webinar. So how to get over those over optimizations. The point is you want to test for robustness, not necessarily the most optimal result. Okay, that's again, this is going to be probably next webinar's topic. But robustness means that your drawdowns aren't so crazy. It tends to work with different instruments of the same kind of characteristics. Those kind of things, and those are things that as a system trader, you have to be aware of. You just have to look out for those type of things. And it doesn't matter what tool you use; those are just things that you just have to be aware of when you're building your system. Adrian's asking, can this be exported to WTS? At the moment, again, that's not possible. It's exclusively for NinjaTrader. Manning is asking, log into the session late. How difficult is to create one's own indicator, strategy, formula, equations? So yeah, Manning, I just sort of went over to show building a very simple system from some very basic building blocks, and you know, you're first starting at it. You know, certainly it'll take you a little longer, but once you get some proficiency, you know, customers have told us that they can, you know, build stuff in 5 minutes that would have normally taken them many days to do, or months even. So, you know, of course, I'm biased, being the developer. Of course, I'm going to say it's easy. It's sort of asking a barber if you need a haircut. But you know, we tend to, you know, if you want, you know, we listen to our customers, and they say it's can be done very quickly with this tool. So, Adrian, or it's saying as an API. Yeah, I'm just saying is at the moment we don't have any support for WTS or TradeStation or any other platform other than NinjaTrader. Joel's saying I use pretty close to that for scalping for the CL futures. Well, that's good. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that. And again, it's you know, this particular system may or may not, you know, work for sort of intraday or scalping type traders, but you know. You know, it was sort of designed. It was designed for the daily scale. And actually, the truth is, Joel, I did check it out on the intraday, on some intraday charts, and it did look pretty good. So sometimes you never know until you try it out. Marcus is answering Adrian's question there. And C# and NinjaTrader, yeah, absolutely, that's what the NinjaTrader uses. Hang on, let me just kind of get through my last little slide here before we continue on with the questions. Thanks for asking them. I mean, it's great that you're interactive and showing interest in this. It's really exciting, and just, you know, when we build a tool and people are using it and they're very happy with it, it's the greatest thing in the world for me. So again, a little bit more about Bloodhound. As you saw earlier, it's a way to model your trade system in the computer, and once you model it, you can backtest, you can analyze it, stuff that I'm going to show next webinar, and you can even auto trade it. That's a kind of a big thing for some people. But what I'm going to sort of get on with before I can get back to the questions is, you know, I'd like to do a little bit of promotion here. You know, sort of, it's our first foray to TradingPub, and those of you that sort of have a chance to visit our site have noticed our price is $8.95. So today, I'm just going to give you guys a coupon code, and this is thanks for attending and viewing the webinar, but also just, you know, this is kind of an aggressive, I'd say a fairly aggressive sale, just because we want to kind of break into the TradingPub community a little bit and get familiar with users and whatnot. But you know, using this coupon code I've got below, we'll take $300 off, and basically this trading software, or this modeling software, will be available for $5.95. We're just going to live with the $25 though, just because we don't want to give away the farm. But you know, what we will do, and what we always do is you know, we're very confident in our product, and you know, if you're not happy with it in any way, you know, shoot us an email and say, you know, this is not what I wanted, doesn't work for me. Perhaps you're onto trading, you decided that the systematic trading is not the way you want to go. You know, no problem. We'll just refund the money, and that's it. So you know, again, it's fairly unheard of for software companies to do that kind of stuff, but it's something that, again, we believe in. So you know, so there's you know, and even those people, you know, if you're a discretionary trader, we have a ton of these. We have a ton of traders that are discretionary, and you know, they prefer to actually use Bloodhound to just, you know, help them find entries and exit signals based off their criteria, but they don't want to do the automated trading stuff. You know, but they still use it because with Bloodhound you can clear your chart out, and you can just give yourselves the buy and sell signals, and it really declutters your charts, but also gives you very clear, concise buy and sell signals that honestly you can't argue with because they agree with uh, your um, your trading system. But the point is, again, if we don't pigeonhole you in any particular type of trading method or style, and it's really up to you how you use Bloodhound. So today, again, we learned about the importance of actually, not just building a system, but learning how to build a system, and why that's more significant than just simply learning how to trade. It's honestly, trading and executing someone else's signals, is not, that's not where the experts, that's where the actual, the very successful people lie. They're the ones that really get amazing results. The guys that actually learn, the guys and the women that learn how to modify their trade systems and stay nimble and learn to toss out stuff that doesn't work, learn to implement things that do. Okay, so and we showed you different types of trade systems, and we modeled that classic stock signal system that you see that I did earlier. Okay, so one thing I do want to announce, by the way, if you want to learn more, if you got some more questions, that's not a big issue. We have a support forum on our website at sharkindicators.com, and we have a webinar, basically a workshop that we run every Wednesday, and tomorrow morning we'll be running again at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we run that every week. So we try to make those informal as we possibly can, and that you can ask any questions you want. So can we see it live? Okay, well, let's see. Bill asks, can we see it live? Well, all right, give me a second here, and I'll let's see if there's any markets open at the moment. Well, what I can do is I can just run it in the background here using a. I'm terribly sorry, but I don't have a. I'll just just for the heck of it, I'll just put a simulate data feed on, just so you can see kind of how the chart evolves and how the signals paint. And I will put that on the screen right now. Switch this over to a minute chart. Okay, that was a daily. All right, so we might have to change our data or our data series a little bit here, so that we're using a 24/7 time frame. Right, so I'm just going to run the chart in the background, so you can just watch it kind of evolve at times. So it's not going to take trades. It's no, I've just got the indicator up. Okay, so unfortunately, guys, I'm sorry. I got my simulated data feed up, and it puts the the price at where I set it last. So that's why you got this humongous jump there. But anyways, I'll let that go, and you can sort of right, you can sort of see that there's no issues in terms of it running live and whatnot, even the intraday or whatever. Jerry Quigg is asking, it appears to be independent of the charting format used. Yeah, so you can use any type of chart type you want, range, Renko, doesn't matter. Heck, even ones that you develop yourself, if you got your own custom chart type, or if you download one from the internet, it'll work with that as well. And you can also add different custom different chart timeframes within. So if you're that type of trader that likes to work with multiple timeframes, maybe you got a 1 minute chart here and you got a 10-minute over there, you can put it all together in one and get this chart button, for example, right? You got a 10-minute. So I mean, you can kind of do whatever you want, and you can put your set of criteria under the 10-minute chart and to combine the two. So it's more than possible to do that. Okay. Is there any volume indicators in your software? We use basically you have the capability to Lena, just to answer your question there, if you want to incorporate volume data, that's not an issue at all. Just for example, let me just throw in a little bit of an example here. All right, so I don't know, slope, whatever. Okay, so I'll put a slope in there. And you have a couple of options here. So NinjaTrader actually has a volume indicator for one thing. But say you want to go one step further than that, you want like I don't know, an EMA of a volume indicator, or you want the exponential moving average of a volume. You can basically feed in, if you will, the volume to another indicator. So I can feed in the volume to EMA, like so. There we go. By pressing this nest input, oh, I think I got it backwards. Actually, we want the EMA. We want to feed the volume into the EMA. So I mean, you can kind of anything you can conceive of, you can sort of create, put in there. So the volume is definitely included there. Sorry, let me see. Mark is asking a question about the coupon code. I love it. Where can I have a trial? Okay, so let me just bring up the website here real quick. I'm sorry about that. That's probably something I should have done. And let me just bring up the website. It's sharkindicators.com. That's our website. And essentially, you can the trial's unlimited. Trial as long as you want, and there's a little bit of a limit in terms of how many days you can back test with it in the trial. But you just go to the free download button, and away you go. And Mark was asking about the coupon. Basically, as to the lifetime license, we have a lease as well. All you do is just go to add cart, and the coupon code again is TradingPub. Should be very easy to remember. So you do it when you're entering the cart, like so. Hit enter, and the risk of sort of revealing my payment information on the internet when this is being recorded, I won't press checkout, but hit checkout, and there you go. So okay, so that's hopefully that answers your question there, Mark. Can the application send email and text messages? At the moment, it does not do email and text messaging, but there's a variety of ways built in, both in NinjaTrader, that can send you alerts. Audible alerts, for example, is one way. So I'll just show you real quick. So you go to Bloodhound, and you can set an Audible alert right here. Let's choose an Audible alert file. If you're savvy enough, you could most certainly layer a piece of code on top, I guess, to read in Bloodhound signals, because it uses a standard. It follows the conventions from NinjaTrader, so it's not too hard to take that in and spit out an email to yourself. I mean, that's more than possible if you want to do that. But that's we are looking into kind of more ways to do alerts, and I believe NinjaTrader 8. I hope I'm not speaking off the cuff here, but I believe NinjaTrader 8 may have addressed some of that stuff too. So that maybe should be a completely moot point. Another common way to use Bloodhound is we can use what's called a market analyzer. So say we actually have a trading coach that we're working with right now, and he scans like 500 different stocks, and unfortunately mine is empty, but you can imagine you have 500 different stocks down here. You got your trade system in one of the columns here, Bloodhound trade system. And this is something we can certainly show you how to set up as well with Bloodhound. But with Market Analyzer, you can get these alerts that come off of this guy. So you could be looking at 500 different instruments simultaneously with your trade system, and it's a very efficient way to scan essentially a very large basket of stocks. Okay. Okay, Mark, sorry, I just got to your question there. I don't see a place to enter coupon code. I hope I got that question for you. All right, thank you. Thanks for the comments. Colin's asking, can you use a buy and sell system like the one you just developed to filter out lists of stocks? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right, Colin. I think I just answered it. See if I don't think I have this computer really set up with the stocks, unfortunately. Let me see. Let's see if I do. Oh, okay. I do to some degree with this computer, but I don't have the actual, as you can see, I don't have the actual prices coming in. So it's going to be kind of empty, but this is kind of how you go about doing it. You would just, you add a column, right? And then you throw in an indicator as your column, like so. And you throw our little bloodhound in there, right here. So I'll just set up real quick here. And actually, I have to save it on the side here. So let me close that real quick. I've got to save this one. Save it as. All right. So let's go TradingPub sample system. All right. Okay. Save that. All right. So let's go here. And I hope I'm not boring anybody, but I'm just gonna because it looks like Collins is the last question there, so I might as well just go ahead and show it. Where are we? Indicator here. Throw in SI Bloodhound, like so. And we load up that template, which is that TradingPub sample system. So there we go again. And use our logic that we created earlier. And I think I need to, right, I need to set this to the daily, right? So day, right? And hit OK. So there you go. This will be the long, oops, I'm not quite done yet. Sorry, guys. All right, so this, we actually have to edit that just a little bit here. So this will give you, oh, yeah, okay. So as you can see here, I can set up different alerts and different colors and stuff, and I can even filter out. So you can make it so that instruments don't even appear on this huge list unless you got a signal. Where's my label? There we go. All right, so this is the long signal of my system, and you do the same for the short. So this is what I'm talking about. You got this confidence long and confidence short here. You select, and there we go. So there's a lot of instruments, so it's just got to crunch a lot of data, but it looks, unfortunately I've got incomplete data, so chances of us getting an actual signal on the long side, at least for this, may be pretty small. But Chuck Fan, that's precisely kind of what I'm demoing right now. Actually, is the ability to screen in stocks, and with this market analyzer, you can actually filter it so that it only shows you like stocks that actually have a particular signal in it, so you're not getting this huge list and you have to scan through it all the time. So this, in conjunction with NinjaTrader, actually will allow you to do that sort of thing. So, all right, I think that's kind of it for the questions. Again, so let me bring up that website again. Sorry. One thing I just want to note here is if you're if you'd like just to have more questions answered in depth, again, we run the workshop that you can sign up for here in the webinar. Okay, so just click that little guy, and away you go. You're inside the webinar, and we run that every week. On that, the one thing I just want to let you know is if you just download the software, to how to use it, kind of from the beginning, is all outlined here. If you just go to our Getting Started guide, that's probably the best way to go about it. Go to our Getting Started guide, and watch the video. These are short, bite-sized, 15-minute videos, not like this hour and 20-minute presentation that we've got going on here. And there's more video tutorials that are short. But you can always ask us questions on the support forum, and we tend to try to get back to you within one business day. Like I said, we handhold you through the process of learning how to use Bloodhound, and we don't leave you out in the cold by any means. So, we find that users take, everywhere. Some people get it right away, and they're off to the races within just a few days. Some people take, several weeks, and so it's really up to kind of how much how much time you spend with it, and if you're willing to put in a little bit of effort to learn the system and learn how it works. it's a tremendous time saver in the end. So, right. So that's basically all I've got. Oh, Kevin's asking, do you get free upgrades? Yeah. So the way we've got things working right now is you pay one price. Originally, we actually had it so you just bought version 1, you pay for upgrade cost for version 2. But we decided, hey, you know what? I think we don't want to just hold back features for the sake of justifying a version 2 and getting people to pay an upgrade fee. So all versions and the best we have to offer is always going to be included. That includes things that we're working on right now, like I said, divergence. We're also working on a Fibonacci specific implementation. I know there's stuff out there for Fibonacci already, but we want it, again, tightly integrated with the system, but tightly integrated with our software. So we're designing our own version of that. Okay. All right. I think I'm basically done. I hope I haven't kind of gone over my time here a bit. Just try to answer the questions as much as I could here. But Morgan, did you need to wrap up or anything like that?
All right, great. Thanks, Jeremy. We really appreciate you being a part of today's event, and I look forward to having you back very soon at the Trading Pub. And one thing Jeremy's going to start doing also is posting some weekly content on our website. I know that you guys will be excited to see that. But as you can see, he's very knowledgeable and definitely is dedicated to trying to help out individual active traders like yourself and like myself. So we appreciate that and really appreciate him taking the time to share such outstanding knowledge. We did record it. We'll get a copy posted on our website, which is tradingpub.com, and we'll post a copy of that most likely by tomorrow morning. Just a reminder, if you go to his website at sharkindicators.com, use the coupon code TradingPub, and you get $300 off. And like he said, basically it's a money-back guarantee. That's why I like kind of dealing with people like that. You can see that his interest is his main interest is in this helping you, and so they want to make sure that it's a good deal for you if you end up buying the software, and so they'll guarantee that. If you have any issues, I know they're happy to help you with support and everything to make sure that you get it just the way you offer of $300 off, and also standing behind their product. So check it out and definitely let them know your feedback, and we appreciate you being here. Our next event, we're actually going to be doing a live trading session tomorrow morning, and we'd love for you guys to join us for that. So when we end the room here in about 2 seconds, it will give you an opportunity to sign up for that event. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jeremy, and we'll see you next time.